Alright, so this is a recap of what you did last week. Basically, what you did, the video I recorded didn't really come up properly, so I was finding it difficult to put them together. So this is just to give you a recap of whatever we did so that you can catch up. Alright, so we basically linked the three data sets together through data modeling or relationships. So we did that with Power Pivots. So I will close this and go to my Excel sheet. So you have our Excel sheet here. Previously, you only had Excel 2017, but then I used Power Query to process the store cities and the product hierarchy as well. So make sure you have all your data processed and also ensure that you have all the sales 2017 to 2020 all combined before we move on. So I'll go to my Power Query here to show you before I go on with that. So this is it. All of them are processed and the sales and the products plus the stores. Right, so close and load. And when you come to the home and you go to data, go to existing connections. Now I wanted to show this queries and connections. Yeah. So these are the queries you see. The queries are basically the data, the different data sets you've processed, right? So you see 2017 and it's a connection only up to 2020. They are all connections only, but the final data you loaded wasn't a connection. That one, it says 106,268 rows loaded. So that shouldn't be a connection, but you can leave this one as called as a connection. So that is when you have them here as they are showing here. I'm not talking about the stores on the product hierarchy. I'm talking about the various years. Just right click and delete. When you delete it, that is after you've processed with Power Query and it has appeared here, right? Delete it. When you delete it, it will come as a connection here. The data is not lost. It's in the Power Query. Okay, it's not lost. So you can bring it up and combine them using the append functionality that we already talked about in Power Query. So do that. Then let's move on. So we looked at power pivots when we met. So power pivots, previously you wouldn't have power pivots showing on your tabs. So how do you bring it? Go to the file menu, then go to options. When you go to options, you go to add-ins. Okay, so add-ins, you have Excel add-ins here. You have Excel add-ins here. So click on com add-ins, then go to go. When you click on go, you have Power Pivot for Excel. So you see that mine is checked. Okay, mine is checked. So make sure yours is checked. Then we can click OK and it will appear here for you. So when it appears here, these are the tabs you see, the various options: manage, measures, KPIs, add to data model, detect, and settings. So first of all, when you've done that, we will come to Power Pivots, then click. We are adding all the various data set 2017 to 2020. Now it's combined, so we have just one data set, then the stores and also the product hierarchy. So we are adding the different data set to the data model. We come here. So you click inside here, come to Power Pivot, add to data model. Okay, so mine, because I've already added, is saying this table has already been added, right? So that is fine. So do same for all of them. I have all mine added, right? All of them added. So after you've added all of them together, then we have these tabs: the data view, the diagram view, this calculation area, and also show hidden. So click on the diagram view. When you click on the diagram view, your data will be, all your data will appear here. So here I'll delete the relationships first, then we do it again. So I'll delete this one. Alright, so I have my data here. You can just drag and place it at whatever you want, but I place my sales in the middle and also the other ones at the end. So I have my product hierarchy, and if you check these cells, we have the product ID here, and also in the product hierarchy, we also have the product ID. So these are the two common things between this data and this data. So I can then link them. Okay, I can then link this product ID and the product ID here. So I'll just drop this one, drag and drop it on top of this, and it's created that relationship. It's here, you have a star here, and here it's we have one. Okay, so this star means many, then this one is one. So here is many to many, sorry, many to one relationships here, right? And here we also have the store ID. I'll drop on top of the store ID here. And here too is, here you have one to many, and here too is, sorry, here too is one to many, right? So we have from here, and we have many of them here. It's that means the product ID is appearing many times in the sales data, but here it's just one, so you have one to many. And here too, it's appearing several times in the sales. The store ID is appearing several times in the sales, so you also have one to many here, right? So this is just the relationship you have to do for this particular data set you have, right? So after you've done this, you can just close it and you are good. Right, so when you've done it, they are now linked. So assuming I want to insert a pivot table, right? I'll close these connections. So I want to create a pivot table. I don't need to come and select this whole data like I did earlier, right? I don't need to do that. So I can, and even if it's a table, if I convert this one to a table, I can click and say insert maybe from table, and it will pick the table. But in this case, you've already added to the data model. So you can now say from data model, you click that. So let's create a new worksheet, and we can see all our data here, right? You can see all our data, product hierarchy 2017, 2020, and the stores. So now that they are all linked, it's very easy for me to know how many products particular, let's say, how many sales a particular product has made, right? So I can bring the product's name in the rows, and also I can now drop the revenue from the sales to this value section, and these are the revenues. So here I can say, okay, I want to filter for the, let's say, the top 10 products, right? So top 10, you can change it. So let me change it to even top 6, right? You can also go for bottom, right? And here you can see that it's saying sum of revenue, and that is what you've done. So I'll press OK, and you have the top 6 products, right? Over here, we can also write something like measures. Instead of using dropping just the revenue here, I can just right click on this and add a measure, right? So add a measure. So you realize that our measure is being applied on the sales 2017-2020, right? So I can say sum, I'll pick the sum function here, and we are summing the revenue from the sales, right? So I'll just click on revenue and I close it. So this is a measure, basically a formula, but you call it a measure, right? So here I pick it, then the measure name. So I'll say, let's say, total revenue. If you don't provide the measure name, you can't save it. So realize that. So if I take it off, this OK is inactive. So I'll bring it back. Then I'll leave my total revenue there. Press OK. So general, the category. So let's say here, let's say it's going to be like let's say currency, right? It's in dollars, right? So let's say 2 decimal places. So press OK. And now if I open this sales, you should have our measure down here. So instead of sum of revenue, I can now drop our measure inside this, and we have our sales, the top 6 in dollars, 40,865, right? Dollars so far, and the top product is this particular one. I can sort by click on just one of the entries here, right click, then sort largest to smallest, and now it's sorted for us. Okay, so now you can also filter, analyze other things. So assuming I want to know which states is selling more product. That one I can get it from the store cities, right? So I can drop the state here. Sorry, let me duplicate this particular pivot table. So I'll duplicate and paste it here, right? So over here, I'll take the product out and I'll bring the stores states in the stores, right? Let me also bring the, let's say, even the city, right? So here, I'll still go in for I'll go in for the six, the top six states that are selling. So here, you realize our pivot table is displaying not in a nice way. So I'll go to design, click on the design tab here, go to report layout and pick show in tabular form, right? So you have it here. And over here, let me also filter for the top six. Okay, so here, top six. Right, so by store doesn't look nice. I want it to bring just the state. So let's maintain just the state for the top six. Let's see if we can also visualize the product hierarchy. Okay, we have the categories. So let's copy this. This is not a visualization per se, this is just the analysis you are doing with pivot table. So I'll drop this here. So I'll take the product off and bring the, say, the categories. So which product or categories are selling more? We only have these categories and there's this one blank here. So we can investigate into that later. So here I'll do the top 10. So we only have up to 10 categories. Okay, so this is how you can use Power Pivot to actually analyze different data sets and put them together. All right, so that is it.